So, hi everyone, I'm Ananya. I'm a junior content manager with Trip 101. Today, we are traveling all the way to Florida in the US and a small part of Florida, which is Key West, with Nico and West who have joined us today. They recently traveled to this location and are going to share all about their trip there. So, welcome Nico and West to our travel talk. And we talk to travelers who have been to destinations which are of global interest. And I welcome you to this session today.
Thank you so
Hi,
much.
thanks for having us.
I'd love to know more about the both of you. So please tell us where you're from and how frequently do you travel?
Yes, I'm originally from Moldova myself. I was born there and then I lived a few years in Italy where I did my high school studies. And then I moved to the Netherlands where we currently are, where I currently live, where I again came for my studies, did my university, and then just stayed here for work. And then I met him.
Wow.
I'm born and raised in Rotterdam, the second city of the Netherlands. So I didn't really travel around a lot in my childhood, and
Yeah.
I'm making up for that right now, I think.
That's fantastic. So how long have you been documenting your travels on your channels?
It's actually not been that long. It's been a couple of months, maybe.
Yeah, like our first real
6 months.
video came out, I think, in February this year. We've always been posting pictures and videos on Instagram, but without really having the intention of creating content. But I
Yeah.
think from this year onwards, we are actually making content.
Yeah,
Oh.
just documenting it for ourselves as memories,
Yeah.
just as a hobby, as well taking videos and images. But for a couple of months now, it's become more of a job, let's say.
That's pretty great, yeah, that you decided that you wanted to share your experiences with everyone else out there. And that's definitely like something we at Trip 101 also want to do. Like we want to help inspire travelers and help them plan their trips. And that's really great, like that you started doing that as well and as recent as this year. So quite commendable on your part.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, but have you been traveling for long though? Like Nico, you mentioned that you made quite the journey from where you were born to where you did your high school. So, but as like something that you did for fun or for the sake of like doing a vacation. So, have you both been traveling together for now?
Yes, for sure. For example, for the past year, I believe we've been traveling somewhere every month almost. So we've been in different parts of the world almost every month. We just come back home, work a bit for our full-time jobs, take care of our cat, and then we leave again. So I also travel myself for work now and then, every now and then, but mostly it's just the two of us exploring actually.
Yeah.
Ah,
And actually, we've been traveling from the first year we were together, and that's now 6 years ago. And I think now we're around like 26 countries that we visited.
Yeah.
oh, that's pretty great. Yeah, 26 is quite a huge number.
Yeah.
Not big enough yet.
Yeah, of course. But I think you've set out on that path, so I think it'll just go higher from here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell us about the trip that you took to Key West. Was it a part of a larger trip that you were doing in the US?
Yes, actually, part of my family, my aunt and her family live in Florida, in Miami. So we initially just went on that trip to visit the family, spend some time with them, and perhaps visit some places around. And at one point, we decided spontaneously to visit Florida Keys. So that's how we ended at Key West.
Oh, wow.
It was part of a different trip with actually different goals, but in the end, we explored a lot.
I
We
think such
also,
spontaneous trips are the best in a way.
Indeed.
yeah, and we also went to the Keys. Like we had the idea that we wanted to go to the Keys when we went to Florida, but it actually became reality and realistic when we a collaboration with a hotel. So and we were like, okay, now we really have to go because we're gonna make content for a hotel, which made it a bit more realistic, also budget wise to go there.
Yeah.
So it was like a hotel property reached out to you and then requested you to come over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed, we got a request from a hotel that we got in touch with, and we were like, it's meant to be, I guess. We
Yeah.
gotta go now.
Let's go.
Wow, that's great. So, and did you also get help from your aunt or your relatives over there to sort of plan or identify the spots that you wanted to go, or was it based on some of your own research?
As far as the Florida Keys are concerned, I think it was mostly us researching things and deciding which key we want to visit, where we want to stay, and what we want to see. We were initially only advised by my family about renting a car and maybe the roads and some
Traffic works in the
traffic,
US.
how
Yeah.
traffic works in the US, exactly. Some tips like that, but nothing specifically about what to visit in the Keys.
Oh, okay. So it was totally like a spontaneous trip, and you were deciding like on the go a little bit.
Yes, indeed. It was a bit, yeah, it was a bit fun actually because and stressful, I must say, because I do drive, but I'm not a professional driver yet. So we
Hmm.
had to rent a car because it's impossible, almost impossible in the US to move around without a car. And I had to drive all the way from Miami to the Florida Keys down to Key West, which is about 4 hours
4 or
driving.
5 hours.
4 or 5 hours, it's quite long. Yeah. So that
Which is a lot when you live in the Netherlands, because if you drive 4 or 5 hours from here, you pass two different countries already. So for us, that's a lot.
was a long
Yeah. And is the driving also a little bit different, like the sides of the steering wheel, I think maybe in the US?
for us. No, it was the same. It was on the
Yeah. For you, it's on the right side, right?
Yeah.
no, thankfully that
Yeah.
wasn't an issue. No.
No, it's strange.
Okay. Yeah. So that's pretty great. Yeah, that you drove around the Keys, so to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think there's so much to explore and there's so many little islands to discover that it's almost impossible to go without the car.
And besides that, the highway itself is an attraction already,
Yeah.
because it's just like
Hmm.
splits the sea in two halves, and you have the
Yeah.
sea on both sides of the car, which is it's really beautiful.
Yeah, it's a very scenic drive in
Yeah.
itself, very enjoyable.
Yeah, these island sort of roads which connect. I've been to one of these in India as well, and it's quite fascinating actually to have the sea on both sides. Yeah, I can only imagine how it is in the Keys, which are quite extended sort of set of islands which are connected together. Yeah. So let's go back to when did you do this trip? So was it earlier this year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was in March this year.
March. Okay.
We left
And what
12th of March, and the key trip was around 20th of March, something.
so later in March, late
Yeah.
March. Okay. So what was the weather like over there when you went?
It was actually perfect for us. Like, I think it was like 29, 30 degrees Celsius, which is like a hot summer in the Netherlands. But for there, it was quite a decent temperature, because in the summer there, it gets like 40 degrees Celsius, which is just too hot to explore and enjoy.
Yeah.
So we had like a good summer vacation in March for us, which is unusual.
Yeah, I'm sure that it's a tropical location, so definitely I think not too much variation in temperature, but it could get very hot in the summer as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also hurricanes in the summer, which you want to avoid. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. So how long were you there in the Keys?
We were there for 3 days.
yeah, 72 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, we were there for 3 days only because it was so spontaneous. We just decided to see as much as possible in as little time as possible. And I think the first tip would be from us that it is quite impossible to see it in 3 days if you want to really enjoy all the keys, all the beaches, all the places. So we would really recommend to go many more days than that.
Yeah, like Key West in itself, there's so much history, such a vibrant place that you really want to spend at least 24 to 48 hours only in Key West already. The other keys are like, there's so much wildlife that you want to see, the deer, but also the fish, the sharks that you might want to swim with. Like, yeah, there's so much to do around there that you need a bit more time than 72 hours, I think.
Yeah. And generally, it's a more relaxed vibe. So to also enjoy the people, the locals there, to enjoy the local vibe, I think you need much more time to just relax while seeing all these places.
Hmm. So 3 days for you was a bit rushed when you went.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we
think
tried to explore Key West like in 10 hours or something. So we were like absolutely exhausted at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the Keys want you to revisit with like a more planned trip where you spend like an extended duration over there.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us more about what you did during those 72 hours. Which all were the locations that you stopped at during these 72 hours?
At first, we stopped, of course, at the first of the keys, which is Key Largo. We made an overnight stop there as well because it was quite a long drive to start with from Miami all the way down to Key Largo. So that was our first stop and first key we saw. Yeah, Key Largo, I think we liked because of its snorkeling opportunities or diving, if you do that. We snorkeled, for example, at the John Pennekamp State Park, which is, I believe, one of the first reef parks in the whole of the US, official ones.
Protected.
Protected reef parks, yes.
Oh, okay.
We really enjoy that.
Well, the wildlife is amazing there. It's just also really wavy on the sea. And if you have a sensitive stomach, I would recommend you to take like those pills to not get sick on a boat.
We were very seasick,
Yeah.
both of us.
Oh no.
Yeah. But the wildlife there is really amazing. So if you're a fanatic for diving and snorkeling, it's great. Like they say, we're not lucky enough to see sharks, unfortunately, but it happens a lot that you're just swimming there and you see a shark popping up in front of you. And that sounds more dangerous than it actually is because they're very harmless there, most of them. Not that I tell you now to go swim with every shark, because yeah, it's an amazing and unique experience, I think. And also like manatees swim around there, and they swim around boats that are being cleaned because they like the fresh water, the sweet water.
Yeah.
So yeah, they really are close to human beings. So that's really nice.
So were you able to spot a manatee?
No, unfortunately not.
Oh no.
We did spot an eel.
Yeah, like a very big eel. Usually you only see those like under rocks and in water caves, but this one was like swimming out in the open.
More while diving, and
Yeah.
we were just snorkeling and we were able to see it very clearly at the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh. So you went snorkeling, not diving?
Yeah, we went snorkeling, yeah.
So it's possible to see sharks and manatees even as you snorkel, or one does have to like dive into the sea to be able to do that?
No, definitely. Like you can see those as well when you're just snorkeling. For example, we stayed at a Maury Dive Resort. That's our first stopover. And they have a reef right in front of their accommodation. And actually, like a lot of sharks swim around just in front of there usually, but we didn't see them. Like you can't plan wildlife. You just need to be a bit lucky.
Yeah.
And we weren't in this particular situation, but it's definitely possible. And we hear like so many people claim that they saw a shark or a manatee or like other nice fish. So if you don't have a diving certificate, I think you can still see and enjoy wildlife while snorkeling.
Definitely.
That's pretty great. Yeah, I'm not much of a swimmer. So
Okay.
that's good to know.
Me neither. Me neither, but I'm still enjoying snorkeling, and you're pretty safe.
Yeah. Just listen to the guides. They know the wildlife there and they know how to act. And I think if you just listen to them, you'll be safe for the most part.
Okay. So you said that you got sick while you were going to go snorkeling or while you were coming back?
Yeah, no,
On the boat.
On the boat, yeah. I was, because we were recording for our YouTube channel as well. So I wanted to record with the drone. And I don't know, like if maybe you know this feeling, if you sit in the car and you're on your phone the entire time, you get more nauseous if you look at the screen.
Yeah.
So I was on the boat that was going like from left to right because of the waves. And I was looking at the screen for the drone. And I just was so focused. And then I crashed the drone first.
Oops.
And second, I became really nauseous as well. So yeah, the inevitable happened.
Yeah. I totally relate to that feeling. I get terribly car sick, and looking at phones, screens, anything, just makes it really bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I didn't know it happens on a boat as well. I'll avoid and make that a tip for myself.
Actually, in the water, I think also because it was so wavy, you couldn't just float and watch the fish. You were like it was still so wavy that you
Mhm.
got nauseous even in water. But I don't know if it's usually like that there. Maybe we were just on a very stormy day.
Rough day. Yeah.
I guess that's why, so like there are a lot of creatures to be spotted. It's like a busy zone and like the waves are huge.
Yeah, yeah. It's open water and it's warm water, so
Yeah.
bigger creatures like warm water present
I
there.
think it's also the location where a lot of currents meet. So which is why, yeah, it's choppy waters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Mexican Gulf and the Atlantic Ocean meet there, so you really see the difference in the between the waters. It's pretty
Oh,
cool to see.
is there a variation in the colors?
Yeah, yes. The one of the waters of the Gulf are more turquoise, I would say,
Yeah,
and the others are very darker, deeper
yeah.
tones.
The Atlantic side is much wilder, I would say, and the
Hmm.
Mexican Gulf has that tropical vibe more. But
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that the Atlantic side doesn't have nice spots too. Like also has
Hmm.
beautiful spots.
Right. So that was your first spot where you went snorkeling, the
Yes.
first ski. So did you have more plans after on that same day, another spot, or did you head back to rest?
Well, we went back to the first accommodation
Yeah.
where we stayed to enjoy the pool a bit. We had to fix the drone because I crashed it on the boat. And then we had to drive 2-3 hours more to our next stay, our collaboration hotel. And that was Big Pine Key.
Big Pine Key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So your next ski was Big Penky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we stayed as well, in the hotel that we collaborated with. And that was also the closest, I think, to Key West, which we could have visited the day after, and we didn't have to drive too much to it. So it was a perfect location.
Okay, that's great. So what did you do in Big Penky?
Actually, to be honest, we didn't visit a lot. Big Pine Key itself, the town it has, because like I said, we were trying to see so much of all the islands that we were always. But what we really enjoyed about Big Pine Key is the wild deer that
Oh,
walk around, and it's apparently a type of reindeer, a species that you can only find in the Florida Keys and nowhere else in the world.
The key deer.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
That was quite special. You could see them on the road, so there were signs everywhere. We saw a couple of those.
Yeah, they were just walking around
Yeah.
our accommodation, so that was pretty cool to see.
Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't have to visit like a natural park or something to
Oh, no, they
spot
were
them.
just like walking around there, just sometimes even approaching you if you were a bit silent. Quite cool.
So you had a relaxing time in Big Penky.
Yes, for sure. Our hotel was quite secluded, I would say, on a quiet beach. And it seemed that around there were a lot of residential houses. So you could see it wasn't very touristy, it was very quiet. It had a beautiful beach and sunset.
And the sunset of Barnacle Place was like the
Insane.
best sunsets we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So just if you grab a pizza somewhere and go sit on the beach, you can enjoy so much already. And I think that's like a very cheap way and affordable way to still enjoy the beauty of the Keys.
Yes, for sure.
You spend the evening at a beach and with a pizza.
Yeah,
Exactly.
indeed.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, watching the sun go down in like any beach location, it's a special time of the day, definitely.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And
So
imagine
did
with
you,
no tourists around,
Yeah.
just us.
Just us.
oh, oh, it was that secluded that there was no one around.
No, it was just one more couple from staying at the hotel itself
Yeah.
and us.
Oh, that must have been quite special.
Yes, indeed.
It felt like we have the beach to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds pretty great. So then what did you do at night? Did you stay in Big Pine Key for the night or did you head over to Key West after?
No, for the night we stayed in Big Pine Key, I think, and only the day after we went to Key West, indeed.
Okay. So what did you do in Key West? Like how did your day start then?
We went quite early, I think, because we wanted to have the entire day to explore it. What did we do? There was so much we wanted
Yeah,
to
so
see,
much.
actually.
We walked everything. We
Yeah.
literally walked around entire Key West for the 10 hours we were there. And that's very doable. If you just drive to the center of Key West, and then for sure you can walk around and see everything, see the old town, the main street, the harbor, the beach. That's all very doable.
Yeah.
I think. And I think US has it all. Like it has nice beaches, has history. It also has, if you want to go and party, there's a lot of bars and ways to just enjoy that. But if you want just like a bit more culture, there are also museums and history. So I think it's a very cool place.
Yeah.
Where I think we should have had more time.
Yeah, we tried to see too much, but
Mhm.
we didn't succeed.
Yeah.
And indeed, it's so different, and there's so much to see that I think it appeals to different kind of travelers as well, and to
Yeah.
locals.
It's quite busy there. So where Big Pine Key was like very quiet and we had it all to ourselves, Key West is busy and is the sort of the main hub of the Keys.
Yeah, it's very happening.
Yeah,
very
it's quite a touristy location as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
So you said you were there for 10 hours and you were walking around all through?
Yes, we walked around. We wanted to see the southernmost point of continental USA. It was it was a huge line of people waiting to take a picture at the southernmost point. We didn't. It was way too busy, way too hot to stand in line, but we saw it, which I think was a must. Then we went to the Ernest Hemingway house. We didn't go inside because again there were huge lines.
Yeah, we didn't have the time to wait in the lines.
Okay.
So we just saw it from outside.
We tried, of course, the
key lime pie.
The key lime pie, yeah.
That's right.
It's like the famous pie that you need to have there. And actually, we spoke to some Americans from Michigan, which is very far from Florida, and they order the pie from the Keys all the way to Michigan because it's just the best, and it's not comparable if you get a copy of that in other
Okay.
So
did you go to a specific establishment to get the key lime pie?
Yes, I believe it's called Kermit's Key Lime Pie. They have a couple of bars and cafes around Key West. I believe three places. Okay. We went to one of those, and you can choose actually multiple desserts that you want to try the key lime pie or the key lime. You can try the pie indeed, which is the original dessert that they make. Nowadays, they also make key lime ice creams, I believe. They also had iced ice creams or iced cakes.
Cocktail even, I believe.
A key lime cocktail, indeed.
So it became very touristic, but it all started with the key lime pie, and that's the traditional dish you have to try.
How did you find it?
Very good.
Yeah, it was good. It was definitely good.
It was really good.
Yeah. Like sometimes you feel like such a hype gets created around something, and you're like, okay, this needs to be amazing, but and then it was good.
Yeah, it was a good combination of sweet and sour.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of such desserts.
You got it.
So that's pretty great here. Like if people from Michigan also like order from down there, so it must be quite something.
Yeah, we had high expectations before going in.
Yeah.
All right. So what else about the rest of your day in Key West?
I think we also just explored a lot of history and we spoke to a lot of locals as well. Because I studied history, so I'm very interested in the history of all places I visit.
Okay.
But USA is such a relatively new country, the history is also quite new. So it's not long ago when the most important things happened. So either the grandpa or the great grandfather of someone you speak to was there to actually witness it. So they really still tell the stories of how their grandpa told it to them. And I think that was very nice. We spoke to a local who was painting historic houses on the side of the road. Another local who actually was collecting coins of back in the day. So yeah, there's a lot to a lot of history to feel there.
Yeah, or sort of treasures lost at sea. People were collecting anything that was lost in the ocean and then reselling that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and other than that, we explored
the harbor there, which is also really nice. We actually saw a doppelganger of Ernest Hemingway there.
So you couldn't go to the house, but you found a lookalike.
We saw the best thing ever.
Okay, Yeah, that's pretty great. And that was a really great tip that you had. Like you just spoke to the locals, and since they had the history is pretty recent for them, so it's from their immediate family narratives that they're sort of giving you the account. So that's quite special.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was quite easy to do so. To just
Yeah.
the locals were very approachable. Everybody saw us filming. We had the camera in our hands, and they
Yeah.
would just ask, "What are you doing? Can
Yeah,
we
yeah.
follow you? Can we
Yeah.
see what you do?"
So supportive as well. Like
Yeah.
in Europe, people are more, they sometimes try to avoid the camera or they are annoyed by you filming, but they're very supportive, and indeed they want to support you by following or subscribing to your channel. It's very nice. And then you just start a conversation about their history or about what they're doing in their life or what they're doing in Key West. So I think the locals there make it even a better place than it actually already is.
Yeah, for sure.
That's so great. Yeah. So Wes, were you able to fix your drone after you broke it?
I fixed it
She
actually
fixed it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a very emancipated relationship.
with the screwdrivers.
Yeah.
No, we thankfully had spare wings that we could just replace, and the hotel had the right screwdrivers for us. So
Yeah.
it was
That's,
press, but it
Yeah.
was fixed.
oh, that's great. Yeah, because it was just the first day when you sort of broke it on the boat. So you needed to fix it to be able to film.
Definitely. Yeah. We really needed to
It
drone
was just the
still.
first day in the Keys, so we had to
Yeah.
fix it.
Okay. So that was one of your trip, or did you go anywhere else apart from then after Key West as well?
Well, in the Key West, we also went to the beach.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Smatters
Smatters
Beach.
Beach.
Yeah.
We actually drove there. We didn't walk.
Oh yeah.
That was a bit, I think, on the
Yeah. It
side.
was already on the way back a bit. So we were like,
Yeah.
okay, we're gonna pick up the car and then we're gonna drive a bit back where the beach was.
Yeah, it was a really nice beach. Wasn't too busy. There
No.
were
Like a lot of birds.
birds.
I don't know how they're called, the big ones with the long legs. I don't know.
We're gonna show a picture of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
And we actually ordered pizza there with Uber Eats. And
Oh,
they just delivered it with a car to the beach, which was like great.
Yeah. So another pizza at the beach.
Yeah.
I guess it's your thing, eating pizza on the beach.
So yeah.
But
Yeah, I think
that's
what we also found compared to Europe, at least compared to the Netherlands, is that the prices in the Keys were a bit sometimes exaggerated. So every time we would rather just take the pizza and have it with sunset or with the view in nature rather than just sit in a restaurant, which was
Yeah.
the best,
Yeah.
the better option for us at least.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And other something else that was really nice to see is the Cuban influences around the
Oh, yeah.
Key West, because it's so close to Cuba, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of influence from Cuba and the immigration. But you can,
Yeah.
for example, still see the chicken on.
The chicken statues. That
Yeah.
was in Havana.
Oh, that was in Havana, Little Havana in Miami.
But there were
Yeah.
chicken on the street.
Yeah, there were like a lot of chicken because they used to keep the chicken, right?
I think there was a legend that said that when Cubans moved to the US, that they brought along their chickens with them. So
Oh.
what we saw in Key West, but also in Little Havana
In Miami.
neighborhood in Miami, is that there's a lot of roaming chickens around.
Yeah.
Oh. I was going to ask about the Cuban influence. Is like a lot of food, Cuban food also available in Key West?
Yes, we didn't have a lot of it because a lot of it is with meat, and we're vegetarians. So
Oh.
that's the low side of, I guess, being
Downside.
the downside of being a vegetarian is that sometimes we don't get to try the local foods as much.
However, we did try the Cuban coffee.
Oh yeah, the Cuban coffee.
Yeah, it's like a stronger version of Turkish coffee, I would say.
I wouldn't make that.
It's so strong that they give you just like one cup, which is like, I don't know, like 5-6 centimeters, and they give you 5 smaller cups with it to share with your friends because it's just too strong for you to drink on your own.
Unless you're Cuban.
Unless you're Cuban, yeah.
Oh, okay. So what were the food items that you actually were able to try over there?
We tried some sweets and more Mexican Cuban food, I think. But like food-wise, that's like she said, the downside of being vegetarian, that sometimes you just have to compromise to what you can eat.
Yeah. I'm
Sometimes
asking
it's,
because I'm a vegetarian myself.
Sometimes they
yeah,
struggle.
Yeah. But I guess it's always possible to have the desserts, definitely, as long as you eat it. So,
yeah.
Indeed. A place that I did see was very popular, only we didn't get to eat there, was the Cuban Queen. I believe it's a chain in Key West specifically, and they also had a lot of different places all around Key West that we've also read beforehand. That was a really good place for Cuban food and coffee, but unfortunately we didn't try it.
No.
okay. So then Key West, that was the last of the keys that you visited, or did you stop at any others?
On the way back, because we had to drive back to our family in Florida,
Miami.
Miami, we passed Islamorada just for a couple of hours because there's actually like a huge tourist attraction there.
Yes, you can feed huge tarpons right from your hand.
Oh,
I think by now at multiple places in the marina, but there's specifically this one bar, one restaurant that has done it since for ages, for forever. I think they were the ones to start actually where the tradition started.
Yeah.
So they started to feed the tarpons that were visiting the marina. And as more people fed them, they learned that's where food comes. So a lot of tourists started
Yeah.
to come and feed the tarpon, which got really huge.
Yeah, that it was absolutely booming. There were so many, like
oh,
you just buy a bucket of that fish, which you give to the tarpons.
Yeah.
We also saw a tourist being bit by a tarpon.
oh
Um,
gosh.
so it's
It's a
not,
dangerous activity.
yeah,
Well, it's as dangerous as you make it, I
yeah,
think, because there's all nets around. So if you just stick your hand a little bit and let the fish fall, then you're good. But some people just stick their entire arm, and then of course the fish is gonna jump and might take your hand together with the
yeah.
fish.
But there are also a lot of pelicans who try to eat the fish you don't use or don't throw in there.
Oh,
So Nico was actually trying to feed the tarpon, and while she was doing so, a pelican came and grabbed the fish out of her hand.
oh my God. Okay.
So you have to watch out for the tarpon and the pelicans.
Yeah.
They're competing for the food.
Yeah.
But was it a fun activity for you? Like, did you enjoy it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was something very different, I think, than the activities we usually do.
Yeah, like I like to see wildlife, so that was very easy. Bit of a forced way to see wildlife, but because the fish are huge, they're like I think sometimes bigger than 2 meters. So quite an experience to see those as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since you missed out on the sharks and the manatees, I guess that made up for.
Second best, yeah.
Yeah. So, was there any other location that you wanted to visit during these 72 hours? I know it was a really short trip for you, but was there anything else that was on your sort of list which you couldn't do?
We would have loved to visit the town of Islamorada and maybe stay there as well one night.
And we actually also visited Honda State Park, but we only had like half an hour to see it. And I think actually that was the most beautiful spot on the entire Keys. It was
Huh?
like crystal clear blue water, very nice beaches, and you could just it's a national park, so you had to pay an entrance fee. But like everyone was being very respectable in nature. You could do a little hike there. It was amazing there. And I really wish we had more time to just lay there on the beach and enjoy and swim there. So if you go there, like for sure, you need to at least like create 3-4 hours to just enjoy your time there.
Yeah, or maybe an entire day. Or I saw people
Yeah.
who come in with camper vans and just
Yeah.
stay the night as well. A lot of
Oh,
people kayaking. Yeah, that place was really interesting to see as well.
Yeah.
Also because of the bridge, the train track. Yeah, the former train tracks that are not used anymore. So there's a piece of the bridge still there, and a lot of history explained around it.
Yeah, they really do a great job explaining the history and everything that happened over there with pictures and explanations. And yeah, you just see everything in front of you because the train tracks are still there, but like just half destroyed because of a hurricane. So it's
okay.
quite,
Sorry, I didn't quite catch where is this? Is this in Islamorada?
No, that's Bahia Honda State Park.
Bahia Honda State.
And I
Okay.
believe that's
yeah, where is it?
I believe it's after Islamorada if you come from Key Largo. If you come from north, you have Key Largo, Islamorada, and then it's the Bahia Honda State Park.
You were able to you were able to stop at it on your last day,
Yeah,
while
we were
returning.
actually just, I think we were going to Islamorada actually.
Okay.
That was the end goal, and then we saw a sign on the street.
It's right before Big Pine Key. If you drive from the mainland of Florida, it's right like I think before Big Pine Key. So let's say between of Key West and Islamorada.
Okay. Okay.
And I remember reading about it on the internet, but yeah, it just didn't fit into our schedule. So I think we just left Big Pine Key with destination Islamorada, but then we did see it on the side.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's just check it out quickly.
Oh yeah, and we actually stopped there because we wanted to fly the drone and get a nice shot of the water and the bridge.
Yeah.
So that's why we're like, okay, let's enter this national park. Let's pay the fee, even though we only have half an hour time to go there. But as we entered the park, we saw signs of not allowed to use your drone, blah blah blah.
Of course, it's a national park.
It's a national park. So yeah, we entered, but we couldn't use the drone. But we still took some pictures as well. So
yeah.
Okay.
And what we liked also in the state park, there were a lot of picnic tables with the view on the water, shaded by some trees. It was a really nice spot for a picnic.
Yeah, like you can really see this is like a hidden gem on the Keys, like on the state park.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys were able to do quite a lot within the 3 days that you were there. So kudos to that.
Yeah, we needed a vacation after these 72 hours to rest again.
Yeah, you were just hopping from one place to the other and walking around so much. So definitely, yeah, it must have been exhausting.
Yeah, definitely.
A bit.
Yeah.
Let's come to discuss, let's discuss the accommodations that you stayed at, because that's where you were resting for a while at least. Let's start with the first one where you stayed, which was in Key Largo.
Yes, that was Amore Dive Resort. It was very nice accommodation. It was quite small, I think. There weren't a lot of rooms. It was quite scattered around, so I'm not sure exactly how big it was, but we really liked it because it had a direct access to the water. It had a small beach.
Yeah, to the sea.
Yeah, to the sea.
And you could just use the paddle boards over there, the kayaks. You could go diving or snorkeling with them. They have a diving shop as well. So if you forgot your snorkeling gear or any like swimmers, you could buy everything there.
Mm-hmm.
It was also very cool, I think. And honestly, we booked this one because the prices of accommodations are quite expensive, quite high there. And this was the cheapest one. So we just booked this.
Well, not the cheapest.
Not the
I think
cheapest,
in terms of comparison.
Yeah, price quality.
Yeah. It was the best one.
It was the best option. And I must say the rooms were very neat, very clean. Had airco, the beds were huge as well. Like nothing bad about this. No.
No, we really enjoyed it. And the staff was also really friendly. They helped us with the screwdrivers for the drone. Yeah, we were able to enjoy the pool even after checkout.
Yeah.
Shower after that as well in the room still. So we really liked it.
Yeah.
So you liked your stay at this first one, Amaro Dive Resort?
Amore Dive Resort. Yes.
Amore. Okay. Yeah. Did you also have any meals over there, or those were outside of the hotel?
No, nothing was included. I think there was no kitchen or restaurant actually, but there were a lot of places around Key Largo, like on a walking distance or with the car.
And there was actually a food truck on the like at the accommodation.
Yeah, in front of reception.
Yeah, there was a food truck where you could get like quite some local food, also vegetarian. So it was quite nice.
Yeah, so not necessarily for, let's say, a dinner meal, but you could always get some food, which was nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, we could walk to a lot of restaurants close by. I think maybe about a 5-10 minute walk. We went to Sundowner, or a cafe on the water. We had quite nice vegetarian burgers there.
Yeah.
And a key lime.
Yeah, key lime mojito, yeah.
Nothing else with key lime.
So it's located in a busy-ish neighborhood where you can walk around nearby to find restaurants, bars, etc.
Oh yeah, sort of. There are some restaurants indeed where you can walk to, but it doesn't have like the traditional town structure where you have like a square and you have restaurants around. No, it's just a very like a road, and on both sides there's still some land, and then you have on both sides the sea. So it's all very scattered and not concentrated around a square or something.
Yeah.
So a small beach town vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the location was quite nice because we had if we wanted to dive, we could dive with the hotel. There were restaurants around. The beach was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite a convenient location.
But besides that, Key Largo is not famous for its beaches. So you really need to have a hotel with access to the sea if you want to enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So the beaches are mostly private for the residents of the properties.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of hotels, restaurants that
Yeah.
are
Okay.
on the shore.
Yeah, barely. You can barely call it a beach. It's
Yeah.
I would call
Okay.
it but
Okay. What about the accommodation that you stayed at in Big Pine Key?
That was Barnacle Bed and Breakfast.
Yeah.
That's where we had the collaboration with them. It was, like I said, a very secluded place, very in the nature, not too touristy, not too much noise. There was just this one small road that led to the house from the
Yeah.
highway, and
That
there was
was very
barely
cool.
any cars there. It was
Yeah.
just reindeer on the road.
Yeah, like you really had a back to basics feel when you
Mm.
go with the wildlife just walking around there, and there's nobody there. You're just like in touch with nature, and it felt really great. And the rooms again were really nice.
Yeah,
Like,
really spacious as well,
yeah,
and the bathroom really clean. Breakfast was included here, so there was somebody. So there was no actual reception. It was very quiet. You would just check in, I believe, there was a ring. How do you call that? A ring door alarm? A ring. A bell on each of the rooms that you
Yeah.
could ring, and then they could see you, and then they
Yeah.
could open the room for you. So there
Oh,
was no actual personnel at the hotel itself, which made it even more quiet, silent.
Yeah.
it was like a proper getaway in
Yeah.
within.
Yeah. But the staff still came to visit us on the last day to speak with us about how we liked it and how the content making went. And they were super friendly as well. If we had more time, they actually offered us to stay at other places as well, which was really cool of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have more time, I think. So
Okay.
Barnacle had also direct access to the beach, and they also, like the previous hotel, they offered paddle boards and kayaks also for rent,
yeah,
and small boats, I think, that you could just take and explore,
and bikes as well.
and bikes. Yeah.
So did you try out paddleboarding or kayaking at any of these places?
Yeah, in both we tried paddleboarding. I think I must say I'm better at it than you are.
Yeah, better at surfing, and she's better at paddleboarding.
Oh.
Yeah, so I did try that also at the Barnacle at the second accommodation, which was very nice, very different than the other hotels we stayed at.
Yeah.
That you can just do your activity while at the hotel.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And then what was your last stay? Where was it?
That was it actually. We
Yeah, we stayed
stayed
there
2 nights.
Yeah, there were 2 nights.
Oh, you were 2 nights in.
At Barnacle, we stayed for 2 nights.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. So your experience at both the properties was good.
Yes,
Yeah,
for
very.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And like I said, the prices are quite high everywhere, but I must admit that the standards are also really high. Look at hygiene, comfort, everything is just great, I must say.
Yeah, and we didn't go to like top
Yeah.
5-star hotels, right? So I
No.
think somehow the prices are maybe justifiable.
No, we went to a diving resort and a bed and breakfast, and we had great experiences.
Yeah.
Also comfort-wise and hygiene-wise. So
Yeah. That's good to know that like these are sort of budget properties, like they're not the high-end ones, but still like in terms of quality as well as the kind of experience that they deliver,
Yeah.
they're quite matching up to what like a hotel stay would be like. That's pretty great. Yeah. Let's move to the next part of our conversation, which is about the tips that you would want to share with travelers who are planning to go to Florida Keys. So, based on like the 72 hours that you spent over there, what would you want to say? What would you want to tell first-time travelers?
I think a couple of those we mentioned already.
yeah, but we summarized them in the top 5.
First for us would be rent a car, definitely.
Yeah.
If you don't drive, maybe postpone your vacation to the trips because you're really dependent
Yeah.
on the car.
Or ask someone to join you on a trip that's actually able to drive a car.
Yeah.
It's not possible to get cabs or taxis.
It is, but that will make your trip more expensive because the distances are huge. So that,
Okay.
yeah, if
Yeah.
you have a budget for that, sure, you can use cabs and taxis. But yeah, like renting a car yourself is actually relatively cheap.
Yeah.
So and the roads are great. So
Yeah. And the renting procedure for us at least went very smooth. It was very easy to rent the car and also deliver it as well. It was quite easy.
yeah.
So knowing how to drive is essential.
Yes, I would say so. Yeah. Then our second tip is definitely go for a snorkel or dive tour at the John Pennekamp State Park. We really enjoyed it. Besides the being nauseous part,
Yeah.
but it was really beautiful to see the underwater world as well.
Yeah. Our third one is spend the day in Honda State Park, kayak, have a picnic.
Which we didn't get to.
But just like take your time there because it's gorgeous.
Our fourth tip is more of a general tip to take your time. Even if you're only going, let's say, to Key West, which is the most popular key, don't go there for a day. Take at least 2 days, I would say, maybe even 3, to just enjoy the vibe, be with the locals, explore the history, but also the bars, the cafes. There's so much to do and to see. So it might seem small, but I think it's worth taking your time there.
Yeah. And our last tip is be open for interactions with locals. Try to approach them or just have an open vibe around you. Because I think that's the best part of traveling, to just get to know each other, get to know other cultures, understand other cultures as well.
Yeah.
And especially because they're so open there as well, and you probably speak English when you travel. So there's like, it's a great opportunity to actually have good conversations with locals. Yeah, that's, I think, our best tip to actually make use of that.
Yeah. And then because then you also get to know the place beyond the touristy attractions and tourists itself that are many.
Those are all pretty good tips. Thank you so much for those. Did you pick up any souvenirs from the Keys?
Yeah, my parents collect those magnets that you put on your, so I always get those. And we bought some key lime pie for her family back in Florida, back in Miami. But yeah, we finished that already. So
I was going to ask about the key lime pie. Did you pick that up? Yeah. I guess it would be too much to carry it back to the Netherlands, but yeah, because you were making a stop in Miami, so you could certainly carry it. Yeah. So what would you say, like, in the 3 days that you were over there, what was the best part of your trip?
I would say a combination of nature, wildlife, and people. Like the nature is beautiful, but the people make it so much better. How knowledgeable they are when you take a tour, for example, or how open they are just for random interactions. I think that we really went away and fell in love with the vibe there.
Yeah.
I think that's the right way to describe it. Like we fell in love with the vibe that the Keys offer.
Yeah, it's the same for me. Like we've traveled many places and we've seen maybe even more beautiful beaches, let's say, but then it's the people there and, like Wes said, the vibe that really make it a unique experience.
That's really cool. If you like the vibe of a place, then you can definitely go back there. So do you have any plans to sort of go again?
I think so, for sure. My family lives there, so we're definitely going to visit them. And why not one more trip to more south?
Yeah, we don't have a concrete plan yet, but yeah, for sure. Next time we visit our family, we're also going to go to the Keys again. But also the northern part of Florida, we haven't seen it all yet. So that's also
on the list. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty great. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining this session today. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to know. Is there anything that I missed out on? Any experience that you'd like to just mention as a last minute?
No, not for now.
Covered everything.
Okay, so thanks so much for sharing about your experience in Florida Keys, especially Key West. And I hope that other travelers will take inspiration from your journey, even if they have like just a short time of 3 days or so. It's still possible to see quite a bit, as long as you're willing to be adventurous and be on the go.
Yeah.
And anyone can feel free to just reach out if they have any other questions or recommendations for our next trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure people will find it helpful. And with that, I will close this session. So thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.